Gur. Amir Sui, a king of the Ghurid dynasty, in the Ghor region of present-day central Afghanistan, and his son Muhammad ibn Sui, despite bearing Arabic names, were Buddhists. During their rule from the 9th century to the 10th century, they were considered pagans by the surrounding Muslim people, and it was only during the reign of Muhammad's son Abu Ali ibn Muhammad that the Ghurid dynasty became an Islamic dynasty. Amir Sui was a descendant of the Ghurid king Amir Banji, whose rule was legitimized by the Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid. He is known to have fought the Safarid ruler Yaqub ibn al-Layth al-Safa, who managed to conquer much of Khorasan except Gur. Gur remained a pagan enclave until the 11th century. Mahmud of Ghazni, who raided it, left Muslim precepts to teach Islam to the local population. The region became Muslim by 12th century, though the historian Satish Chandra states that Mahayana Buddhism is believed to have existed until the end of the century. Nuristan. The vast area extending from modern Nuristan to Kashmir, styled Piristan by A.M. Kakapado, containing host of Kafir cultures and Indo-European languages that became Islamized over a long period. Earlier, it was surrounded by Buddhist areas. The Islamization of the nearby Badakhshan began in the 8th century, and Piristan was completely surrounded by Muslim states in the 16th century with Islamization of Baltistan. The Buddhist states temporarily brought literacy and state rule into the region. The decline of Buddhism resulted in it becoming heavily isolated. Successive wave of Pashtun immigration, before or during 16th and 17th centuries, displaced the original Kafirs and Pashai people from Kuna Valley and Laman Valley, the two eastern provinces near Jalabad, to the less fertile mountains. Before their conversion, the Kafir people of Kafiristan practiced a form of ancient Hinduism infused with locally developed accretions. The region from Nuristan to Kashmir, styled Piristan by A.M. Kakapado, was host to a vast number of Kafir cultures. They were called Kafirs due to their enduring paganism, remaining politically independent until being conquered and forcibly converted by Afghan Emir Abdul Rahman Khan in 1895 to 1896, while others also converted to avoid paying jizya. In 1020–21, Sultan Mahmud of Ghazna led a campaign against Kafiristan and the people of the pleasant valleys of Nur and Kirat, according to Gardizi. These people worshipped the lion. Muhammad Habib, however, considers they might have been worshipping Buddha in form of a lion, Sakya Sinha. Ramesh Chandra Majumdar states they had a Hindu temple, which was destroyed by Mahmud's general. Indian cultural influence. The use of Greater India to refer to an Indian cultural sphere was popularized by a network of Bengali scholars in the 1920s, who were all members of the Calcutta-based Greater India Society. The movement's early leaders included the historian R.C. Majumdar, 1888–1980, the philologists Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, 1890–1977, and P.C. Bagchi, 1898–1956, and the historians Fanindranath Bose and Kalidas Nag, 1891 to 1966. Some of their formulations were inspired by concurrent excavations in Anka by French archaeologists, and by the writings of French Indologist Sylvain Lévy. The scholars of the society postulated a benevolent ancient Indian cultural colonization of Southeast Asia, in stark contrast, in their view, to the Western colonialism of the early 20th century. The term Greater India and the notion of an explicit Hindu expansion of ancient Southeast Asia have been linked to both Indian nationalism and Hindu nationalism. However, many Indian nationalists, like Jawaharlal Nehru and Rabindranath Tagore, although receptive to an idealization of India as a benign and uncoercive world civilizer and font of global enlightenment, stayed away from explicit Greater India formulations. In addition, some scholars have seen the Hindu-Buddhist acculturation in ancient Southeast Asia as the single cultural process in which Southeast Asia was the matrix and South Asia the mediatrix. In the field of art history, especially in American writings, the term survived due to the influence of art theorist Ananda Coomaraswamy. Coomaraswamy's view of pan-Indian art history was influenced by the Calcutta cultural nationalists. By some accounts, Greater India consists of lands including Burma, Java, Cambodia, Bali, and the former Champa and Funan polities of present-day Vietnam, in which Indian and Hindu culture left an imprint in the form of monuments, inscriptions, and other traces of the historic Indianizing process. By some other accounts, many Pacific societies, and most of the Buddhist world including Ceylon, Tibet, Central Asia, and even Japan were held to fall within this web of Indianizing culture colonies, this particular usage implying cultural sphere of influence of India was promoted by the Greater India Society, formed by a group of Bengali men of letters, and is not found before the 1920s. The term Greater India was used in historical writing in India into the 1970s. Cultural expansion. Culture spread via the trade routes that linked India with southern Burma, central and southern Siam, the Malay Peninsula and Sumatra to Java, Lower Cambodia and Champa. The Pali and Sanskrit languages and the Indian script, together with Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism, Brahmanism and Hinduism, were transmitted from direct contact, as well as through sacred texts and Indian literature. Southeast Asia had developed some prosperous and very powerful colonial empires that contributed to Hindu-Buddhist artistic creations and architectural developments. Art and architectural creations that rivaled those built in India, especially in its sheer size, design and aesthetic achievements. The notable examples are Borobudur in Java and Angkor monuments in Cambodia. The Srivijaya Empire to the south and the Khmer Empire to the north competed for influence in the region. A defining characteristic of the cultural link between Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent was the adoption of ancient Indian Vedic, Hindu, and Buddhist culture and philosophy into Myanmar, Tibet, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaya, Laos and Cambodia. Indian scripts are found in Southeast Asian islands ranging from Sumatra, Java, Bali, South Sulawesi and the Philippines. The Ramayana and the Mahabharata have had a large impact on South Asia and Southeast Asia. One of the most tangible evidence of Dharmic Hindu traditions is the widespread use of the Anjali Mudra gesture of greeting and respect. It is seen in the Indian Namaste and similar gestures known throughout Southeast Asia. Its cognates include the Cambodian Sampia, the Indonesian Semba, the Japanese Gassho, and Tai Wai. Beyond the Himalaya and Hindu Kush mountains in the north, along the Silk Route, Indian influence was linked with Buddhism. Tibet and Khotan were direct heirs of Gangetic Buddhism, despite the difference in languages. Many Tibetan monks even used to know Sanskrit very well. In Khotan, the Ramayana was well circulated in Khotanese language, though the narrative is slightly different from the Gangetic version. In Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, many Buddhist monasteries were established. These countries were used as a kind of springboard for the monks who brought Indian Buddhist texts and images to China. Further north, in the Gobi Desert, statues of Ganesha and Kartikeya were found alongside Buddhist imagery in the Mogao caves. Cultural commonalities: religion, mythology, and folklore. Hinduism is practiced by the majority of Bali's population. The Cham people of Vietnam still practice Hinduism as well. Though officially Buddhist, many Thai, Khmer, and Burmese people also worship Hindu gods in a form of syncretism. Brahmins have had a large role in spreading Hinduism in Southeast Asia. Even today, many monarchies, such as the royal court of Thailand, still have Hindu rituals performed for the king by Hindu Brahmins. Garuda, a Hindu mythological figure, is present in the coats of arms of Indonesia, Thailand, and Ulaanbaatar. Muay Thai, a fighting art that is the Thai version of the Hindu Mustayuddha style of martial art. Kaharingan, an indigenous religion followed by the Dayak people of Borneo, is categorized as a form of Hinduism in Indonesia. Philippine mythology includes the supreme god Bathala and the concept of Dewata and the still current belief in karma, all derived from Hindu-Buddhist concepts. Malay folklore contains a rich number of Indian-influenced mythological characters, such as Bidadari, Jentayu, Garuda, and Naga. Wayang shadow puppets and classical dance dramas of Indonesia, Cambodia, Malaysia, and Thailand took stories from episodes of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Caste system. Indians spread their religion to Southeast Asia, beginning the Hindu and Buddhist cultures there. They introduced the caste system to the region, especially to Java, Bali, Madura, and Sumatra. The adopted caste system was not as strict as in India, tempered to the local context. There are multiple similarities between the two caste systems such that both state that no one is equal within society, and that everyone has his own place. It also promoted the upbringing of highly organized central states. Indians were still able to implement their religion, political ideas, literature, mythology, and art. Architecture and monuments. The same style of Hindu temple architecture was used in several ancient temples in Southeast Asia, including Angkor Wat, which was dedicated to Hindu god Vishnu and is shown on the flag of Cambodia. Also Prambanan in central Java, the largest Hindu temple in Indonesia, is dedicated to Trimurti, Shiva, Vishnu and Brahma. Borobudur in central Java, Indonesia, is the world's largest Buddhist monument. It took shape of a giant stone mandala crowned with stupas and believed to be the combination of Indian origin Buddhist ideas with the previous megalithic tradition of native Austronesian step pyramid. The minarets of 15th to 16th century mosques in Indonesia, such as the Great Mosque of Demak and Kudus Mosque, resemble those of Majapahit Hindu temples. The Batu Caves in Malaysia are one of the most popular Hindu shrines outside India. It is the focal point of the annual Thaipusam festival in Malaysia and attracts over 1.5 million pilgrims, making it one of the largest religious gatherings in history. Erawan Shrine, dedicated to Brahma, is one of the most popular religious shrines in Thailand.